Today's video, the latest Manchester United news, and I'm sure you've seen all the reports linking Graham Potter to the manager's job. He's on the shortlist apparently to Jim Ratcliffe. We want to know your thoughts and opinions on it. Is it just a load of rubbish? Do you think there's any truth to that rumour? Get involved in the chat because we want to get you involved as well, Rez, in today's video. First of all, what's your thoughts on that, about Graham Potter being on the shortlist?
It's not Graham Potter we need in here, it's Harry Potter. Harry Potter needs to come in here with his magic and give it a clean sweep. That's what we need in here. Graham Potter, no, his CV is just, it's not good at all. At Brighton, yes, it was all there for him. Great infrastructure, great people behind the scenes and all that. He disappears, goes to Chelsea, and then it just all collapsed around him. Couldn't cope. So it's just becoming to the same here. That's why I say it's Harry Potter you need in here before you get a manager.
Being devil's advocate, though, wouldn't that experience at Chelsea have helped Graham Potter going forward then to manage a bigger club?
No, it absolutely sap his soul. Coming here to United after Chelsea, no, it's a ridiculous. To me, it's a ridiculous story what's come out.
Why do you think this story's come out? Is this because we've obviously been knocked out in the Champions League? We've got Liverpool on Sunday, a massive game, tough ass to go there and come away with any points, and it's just a case of the media heaping more pressure on Eric Ten Hag? It's
just, that's what it is. It's heaping more pressure on. Of course, it's the Liverpool game coming up. Everyone's screaming, get him out, get him out. That's all you see. Eric Ten Hag, just as though like it's week to week. Poor man, you know what I mean? He's struggling there to hang in. He's not doing himself any favours. We all know that with his comments and everything. But at the end of the day, if you look at Ineos and you look at Sir Jim Ratcliffe, the logical thing is that they come in. When they come in, I'm not sure. But when they come in, they will take a look at it and deal with it at the end of the season and then start making decisions then. You know, everyone needs a clear understanding of where they're at the football club. When these people come in, they're going to be taking over the football side of things, apparently. So at the end of the day, they need time to settle in and adjust and look at everything. So if they bring Harry Potter with him, that's great.
Yeah. So you think this is just another chip paper from the Sun? Are you going to give him anything of good journalism on this one, or are they simply just adding more pressure, putting two and two together? Because Brailsford wanted Graham Potter at Nice before Frioli, who's the Nice manager.
Look, it's what they do. It's what the media do. We know that. We're used to it. They're just piling it on, and you couldn't get a bigger weekend for Manchester United playing Liverpool. Yeah. And we all know what it's going to be like at Liverpool. They'll all be screaming, the Liverpool supporters. You're getting sacked in the morning, and the newspapers and everyone else will just be piling it on. But this to me, listen, I look at Graham Potter and I think, yeah, did really well, really well. There's no arguing about that, right? But you also have to look at behind the scenes at Brighton. 10, 15 years of pure professional run football club. And no disrespect to Brighton, they're a small club, right? They all worked hard together. Graham Potter worked hard, coaching, everything. There was a system in place, and that system, it was in place for De Zerbi when he came in, and nothing changed, and he just carried on with the same philosophy with the football and the coaching, what's going on there. And when Graham Potter stepped out of there, you've seen what happened. Car crash. Well, it'd be more than a car crash if he come in here, because he would not be able to cope. I seen him with the media. He couldn't cope with them. The pressure was immense. And if you look at Chelsea, they're nowhere near the size of Manchester United. So there's no chance for Graham Potter coming here. It's the media again. It's the stories. It's heaping more pressure on. And you've just got to, dismiss it. And tomorrow, it'll have gone.
Yeah, Jam United said, if we sack Eric Ten Hag and go for Potter, I'm chucking it in. It's proper got to you, that, hasn't it, my mate?
Yeah, that has really got to you. And I know
it's only a report from the Sun newspaper, though, so obviously take that with a pinch of salt, because I certainly am, and I'm sure a lot of you's out there, but I can actually get your frustration as well. Yeah,
I get your frustration, and I know you go to the games and that, Jam United, so, you're just reacting and that, and it's getting to you, and it's getting to a lot of us. So you just have to take a lot of these things with a pinch of salt. It does not make sense when you see what Graham Potter did and how he worked his so-called miracle at Chelsea. It didn't work. He had young players there, and and he couldn't get them to play football. He couldn't get a consistency. And when he was at Brighton, he was hailed as being able to work with young players, inexperienced players, and he developed a style. And that all went to pot at Chelsea. So, yeah, you could do well at one club, go to another, and it's carnage. You've got to remember, these football clubs now, they're owned by proper people with proper big money, businessmen and everything. Everything's changed. They want success now. They're not going to wait and give you 5, 6, 7 years to turn it around. That's the problem we've got. We've had that for years now. Yeah. And at Chelsea was the same for Graham Potter, and he didn't survive. He wouldn't survive 10 minutes here with the press.
No, I don't think he would either.
He would not survive 10 minutes.
Yeah, I think this club would suck his soul out of him. But Ian from the Isle of Man, I think it is, says in the chat, if Ratcliffe thinks Potter is the man for the job, we are in trouble from the get-go. But would you think that Ratcliffe coming in, and by all reports, he's going to be like the head of the football strategy, or at least on a three-man committee, that he won't have a short list of managers, just in case things do go pear-shaped and go south?
I think what he'll do, he'll come in, speak to
some people out there might think that's already happening, that it's going pear-shaped, but I don't think personally it is just yet.
No, I think what will happen is they'll come in, look at it, they will look and learn and assess everything in every department, and they'll speak to Ten Hag. They'll find out what he needs, what he wants, and then they'll look at their plans and see if it suits them.
Surely the people like you, John Murtough, have got to go before the manager, surely, because he's the one who's been in place, getting and recruiting a lot of these players in and getting deals done.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Over the years, I don't mean just under Eric Ten Hag, and Eric Ten Hag's having to deal with the fallout of that, contrasting styles under previous managers.
Yeah, they'll look at everything. They'll definitely look at Murtough. They'll look at Fletcher, and they'll look at many other people in there. But the manager is the one under pressure. It's a results games business, and at the moment, he's not getting the results. But he has had a lot of injuries. He's got a lot of things behind him. He's got last year behind him to sort of like carry on. But they will see what he wants, really, how he's going to develop United. And they might have a different opinion. I think he should be given the time. I think it's been a terrible year for him. All the injuries and that. He's not been able to get a solid side out there. But he's not helping himself. He seems, the last couple of weeks, his press conferences and that have been a bit sketchy, so I'm not too happy with him myself.
Eric Ten Hag is the man, the long term, though.
I think Eric Ten Hag.
Do you think?
I think Manchester United needs somebody in place to be able to weather the storm what we're in. And Eric Ten Hag is the man in situ, and he should be still sat there next year, given the chance and start the season with his team. This is not his team. He needs the time to be able to get all the dead wood out of this club. He needs the time, because at the end of the day, if you bring another manager in, what have you got? You've then got 23 players what have got nothing to do with the new manager, and we'll be saying the same thing again. Repeat and rinse, repeat, rinse. Got to get rid of the deadwood. This isn't his team. Well, how many times do you keep saying that? So at the end of the day, he does need that time.
Yeah, Dave Taylor says in the chat as well, nothing will change if Ratcliffe comes in. We've got no money, and his 25% doesn't give him full control, and he's bang on with that. If the reports are right, 25% won't give him full control and the final say, surely.
No,
or do you think the Glazers will give him the final say on the football side?
No,
and again, still budgets have got to be planned out.
Well, this is the thing. This is why. Are you going to bring a new manager in? Because at the end of the day, the budget might only be so small, and they might just say to Ten Hag, this is what you've got. This is what you've got. This is the budget. And we all know what we need. Centre-half, midfield player, another striker.
Yeah, but if Sir Jim Ratcliffe, he turns around and says, right, I need £100 million this season, and the Glazers go, look, empty the pockets out, listen, there's a fiver. It's not going to work then what Sir Jim Ratcliffe wants to put in place, is it, if he's not got the final say?
I think how Sir Jim Ratcliffe will look at it with Ten Hag is say, right, you've got X amount of money to go and buy players. What type of player do you need? Yeah. I look at it, there's your type of player, what you need, there's your budget, and by the way, this is what you need to sell if you need any extra. And I think that's the way Jim Ratcliffe will go. I think it's a big clear out in everything before he starts investing in the playing side and in everything else. I think it's a big clear out first.
I think the focus is going to be
clear out.
Well, on the clear out, a lot of people who are on, players who are on high contracts, aging players, and a more emphasis on focusing on youth development and bringing them through. I think a lot of the money will be spent on the youth department and the training facilities and stuff like that, mate.
Yeah.
Maybe scouting department, get better scouts in, recruiting better young players.
Yeah. Well,
local players maybe as well.
Yeah, well, it's got to be a clear understanding to everybody, and it's got to be a clear understanding to the manager. And if they keep Eric Ten Hag, he has to know exactly what the script is, and everyone else does. The press have to, the media, everybody needs to know that everything's changing. And if he does change the manager and bring somebody in, he needs to know, and we all need to know that the manager knows you've got no money, it's all about youth, and you've got to develop this, and then we've just got to take what comes.
Yeah, you're still a firm believer, though, to give Eric Ten Hag more time. I think we've always said
3 years.
Recently, 3 years, and that's when you should judge him on next season to see how he performs.
Well,
how the team perform and him.
I look at it, I said he's got to have 2 years to get rid of the players he doesn't want, and it's going to be very difficult, and we all know it's been very difficult. And then you've got to say the third year is his team. We should see his style of play and what he wants. And at the end of the day, if you look at his first year, he overachieved, and this year it's been a car crash.
What do you think of his players he's brought up to now, though? Who do you think's made a big impact at Manchester United, where you look at that squad and you think to yourself, I'd definitely have him, I'd definitely keep him? I can only really think of 3 or 4 players in that squad. If it was given the option to keep.
To keep? Well, you've got to keep Casemiro,
Martinez, Højlund, Garnacho. That's the only 4 players in my head who would turn around and say, definitely keep.
So you're turning around and saying, Anthony you could get rid of, Onana?
Yeah, if it was given the option, and it was given an option of, look, you can only keep 4 players, there'd be the 4 players to keep. Well, I know Casemiro's, 31, but I still think he's a class player, and we'll get onto the reports that have come out from France today about him linking to PSG. But for me, I think it'd be foolish to get rid of him in January. Absolutely foolish.
Well, you've got to look at Anthony, haven't you? Stats there are telling you he's not helping the team out with any assists. He's not helping the team out with any goals. All you can do is hope that this year, the rest of the season, it changes for him. And that's what you have to say about the other players. You have to remember, not every player what gets signed by any club comes straight in and hits the ground running. We give lots of players time to settle in, and it doesn't always work straight away. And every manager has bought players and it's not worked out. That's life. That's what happens. And at the moment, the players what Ten Hag's bought haven't had long enough to settle in. That's how I look at it. But by the end of the year, we should know more about Ten Hag's, who he's bought, and whether we should keep him or let him go.
Yeah, I think there's also 2 or 3 young players there as well who I think have possibly got a bright future at United. You look at Hannibal, who I do like, I know you do, and some of you's out there. You've also got the likes of Dangor, Kobbie Mainoo, obviously, and Palestra. So, there's certain players in there as well who you could also take forward as well to see how they develop and see if they can cut it long term at Man United.
I think it just depends with a core of young players on if Jim Ratcliffe wants to go down that route. And if he wants to go down that route, there is already 5 or 6 young players in and around the squad where you could just say, right, these are the future, work with these, have a few experienced players, obviously, along with them, and take it from there, and then build up more young players and bring in, obviously, a top striker, a top centre-half, a top midfield player. That would help all the young players. We've seen it before. It could happen. You just never know.
Might have to play 1 or 2 of the youngsters against Liverpool on Sunday. Injury concerns as well surrounding maybe Luke Shaw, Harry Maguire for it as well, defensively. What would be your formation or even tactics going to Liverpool? I think I'd have to play Bayinde and Onana in net, go 5 at the back, 3 in midfield, Højlund up top.
I think...
And then just counter-attack.
I look at Bruno's not there as well. Do you know what I mean?
That's it, yeah.
The first thing I worry about is who's captain. Who's going to be captain? And I look.
Let us know out there who you think's going to be captain against Liverpool on Sunday. I
look at that squad and I look at the possibilities of who could be on the pitch and think to myself, who's going to lead that team, the fight against Liverpool? And I haven't got a clue, to be honest with you. And that's me stumped. I don't know what you think out there, but
Well, Varane was.
But I would say Varane. It was on the tip. Listen, he's got the experience, right, and that's what you have to have. And then you just don't know. Yes, we know they fell out. But you have to have someone at the back. You know, Liverpool are going to
fell
come
out. I wouldn't put my trust then in a player who you. This is just an opinion. We don't know any facts, but if they have fell out behind the scenes, I wouldn't then give the captain's armband to a player leading the team out at Anfield.
McTominay.
To me, I think a bit McTominay. I know Varane was like the captain most of the time in pre-season when Bruno wasn't playing, etc. So is he the vice captain? Do you think it will go to Varane against Liverpool? But I'm thinking it might be McTominay as well because he's been playing him. Do you know what I mean? He's been playing him in most of the games this season. Varane, we've played some big games and he sat on the bench, not even come on in some of them.
I know something certain, 100%, that there's people listening to this screaming.
No,
McTominay,
yeah.
McTominay, captain. Varane, captain. Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
This squad is decimated. We are in the mud big time. For me to ask for McTominay to be captain or Varane, I know myself that's insane. It is insane. But the squad is decimated, right? But what alternatives is there? I don't see any other alternatives.
If I wanted to get you out of it, what about Marcus Rashford?
Pardon?
Marcus Rashford.
I'm not biting on Marcus Rashford tonight.
Well, we'll talk about Rashford then in our match preview on Saturday. So if you are available on Saturday, we will do a match preview for the United versus Liverpool.
Everyone knows where I stand with Marcus Rashford. So I'm not debating him tonight. I'll do that on Saturday when we do a live Saturday morning. Yeah,
well, let's move on to a bit of Sancho news on Sancho. Dortmund's director, Sebastian Kell, has ruled out any exchange deal for Sancho and their player Marlon at present. Rumours have suggested Sancho's former club had proposed an offer to United last week. However, Kell has ruled this out. It's currently on the table. And he said, at the moment, there is no exchange deal discussed with Sancho and Marlon or any interest in any player. So he's just rebuffed that straight away. That's
well, that was a classic one, wasn't it? Again, rumours.
Rumours, yeah, of course.
Rumours. Listen,
do you think he will be moved out, though, in January? It won't be a permanent deal, surely, because no one's going to pick them wages up what he's on. It's going to be a loan deal.
Listen, they've got to sell him. You just get him out. A loan deal, I'm not too sure. Yes, it looks the likely option, but for me, Eric Ten Hag in charge wants to sell him. He's not at the club anymore. Got to go. Got to sell him. I don't see how they're going to sell him in January. That might happen in the summer. But a loan move, it could be on the cards. But you'll get all these stories, all these rumours about loan deal here, loan deal there, but certainly not to Dortmund.
If you're Jadon Sancho, though, he's sat on the sidelines, you're seeing all this media pressure around Ten Hag and his future. Would you be sat there thinking, though, I might outlast the manager there and see where my chances lie with the new manager that comes in? Would you think that, though, as a player, you're on that much money as well? You know, if you're being offered to another club on a lot less wages, would you personally sit on that bench and let time run out a little bit longer to see where the manager's at?
That's the modern footballer, though, isn't it? You know, we've got all the gold, we've got everything, we've got the power. I think he would think like that if you look at his career and his attitude. I mean, going back to Dortmund, would Dortmund really want him? They kept it very quiet that they had somebody getting him out of bed so he could get to training and to the match on time, you know. So it's just rumour, but players have all the power, and Instagram is what they love. The gold is what they love, and they don't want to put the effort in. And Jadon Sancho hasn't put the effort in, but he sees that he's done nothing wrong. You know, I'm the victim, and he's not the victim. He's been looked after everywhere he's been.
I think it's a big shame, though, because if you look at Sancho's playing style, particularly at Borussia Dortmund, you know, flashes of it at Man United, but not on a consistent basis. And you look at our wide players who we've currently got in the likes of Marcus Rashford, Antony, and I'll also add Garnacho in the mix, even though I love the kid. But for me, Sancho would suit playing with Højlund better than all three of them. Look, in the way he plays, he loves to link off a centre forward, Sancho, and I think he's one of them type of players who gets more of a buzz out of an assist than he does actually a goal. But obviously, he's just acting like a proper nugget in the way he's behaving with the manager, and also treating us as fans as well.
But he's treated fans wherever he's been like the same way. If you look at Sancho, okay, he might have a span of concentration for about 2-3 weeks, maybe. That's how I see it. And if you do look at Jadon Sancho, is a leopard. Leopards don't change the spots.
Yeah,
simple as. And he consistently, wherever he's been, hasn't changed anything what he does in life. He doesn't respect these football clubs where he's going. He doesn't respect the fans. He just respects himself, and he's the victim. That's the way it is, unfortunately.
Yeah, there's any of you out there who would like to keep Sancho to see if things can get resolved between him and the manager, or
is it right to keep him and try again?
Do you know what? I've got to be honest with you. Any player that pulls on the shirt for Manchester United, I always back him, whether I think they're
on the pitch,
whether I think they're good enough long term or not. But it'd be very, very hard for me to back that player if he was to ever pull on the shirt again. You know, I think the way he's conducted himself in recent months, and especially how he come out on social media after that Arsenal game.
Well, you talk about backing.
It'd be hard for me.
You talk about backing players for years and years. You know, I've always backed players and everything like that. And then last year, 18 months ago, I turned around and changed my own assessment of these players, because I had to look at what they see, how they treat life, how they perform, and what they do off the field and on the field. And I don't give him time, now. I won't give Sancho time. I won't give Rashford the time of day. But if they're on the pitch playing for Manchester United, they'll get 90 minutes of my support, and that's it. But anything off field or anything like that, I just do not relate to these players whatsoever and their lifestyle. Their lifestyle affects what's going on at Manchester United, and a lot of them just haven't got the hunger, and they just don't care, some of them. Once they've got the money...
Giving too much too soon at a young age.
Well, once they've got the money, that's it. That's the attitude, unfortunately.
Yeah. Just diving into the chat, Mick Cypher, cheers for your super chat, mate. It says, Tony, give us hope. Have you ever seen it as bad as this?
Have I ever seen it as bad as this? Yeah. As a football club, no, I haven't. I've seen bad games, but to be honest with you...
Even when we got relegated in the 70s?
No. No, listen, you only have to... Listen, I'll tell you this. Go and find the games. They're all out there on YouTube and everything else like that of the year Manchester United went down. And you go and watch some of them games and watch how Man United fought, especially the second half of the season, right? They were unlucky to draw. They were unlucky to get beat in a lot of games. But what you did see, you've seen effort from every player. Correct.
So it's just a lack of quality.
Look. A lot of them weren't good enough. Yeah. But what you seen was effort, and Manchester United were unlucky to get beat in some of the games. But they tried, and that's what you want from your team every week. And you give them respect. Here, what you've got is people who are not trying, who have got no respect for the fans, have got no respect for the heritage, the history of Manchester United. They've just got no respect whatsoever. They just think about themselves and what's going to happen and how they're going to party. Listen, players used to party every week. They used to go out every day after training. But what they did, they stuck together and put it in. Okay, the regime changed under Fergie, quite right as well. You was never going to win anything unless things changed. And we're not going to win anything now unless things change. The attitude here is absolutely terrible compared to the players before. But you've seen effort, you've seen commitment, and what you did see, you've seen players respecting the club and the fans. And I have never seen it as bad as I've seen it here now. And it is a disgrace.
Yeah, I like that. That was good. Bit of a history lesson as well. Hopefully you all enjoyed that. Mick Cypher, cheers for your super chat. Missed it earlier on, mate. He did say Eric Ten Hag spent 400 million on deadwood. Antony is the worst winger ever. Have you not seen Gabriel Obertan or Bellion, mate? They spring to mind straight away. He's definitely nowhere as bad as them two. Or Webby.
Listen, he spent 400 million, okay? Things aren't working out. We have to accept that, right? And you also have to go back to what I said before. And you have to remember, every manager's bought players and it's not worked out. The crisis what we're in now, right? Players not being able to do what they're doing, and the part of Eric Ten Hag's like purchases, right, is being magnified everyone's magnified that they're not doing it. I've seen Anthony's stats. No assists, no goals. That's poor. But that doesn't mean to say he won't come good, right? It doesn't always work straight away. And
I think it's actually 25 or 26 games and he's got 1 assist.
But there's other people done that.
Yeah.
There's other people done that.
We mentioned in yesterday's video, the last forward player for Manchester United to score at Old Trafford in the Premier League was actually Jadon Sancho, and that was back in May when we played Fulham, last game of the season.
Listen, other people in the past have not hit the target. You know, once a striker goes 2 or 3 games without scoring a goal, or someone who you think's going to score goals, right, doesn't go, there's a crisis of confidence. Well, at the end of the day, it's going to be hard for people to get the confidence up when the chaos is all around. You know, players haven't played with each other week in, week out. The disruption is unreal. You've just got to bear with it and hope that it comes good. And if it doesn't come good, we know things will change. But you can't slag a manager for signing players and then players not being able to perform. You have to wait and see and hope that they come good at a certain point. And every manager, and I'll reiterate it again, it always doesn't. Sometimes it always doesn't work out.
And it's hard to,
and that's life.
And it's hard then to integrate them players that you do want with the players you don't really want and don't really fit into the style of play you actually want to put on the pitch at times. Not that that's an excuse for some of them poor performances.
He might have wanted to sign players. There might have been players he signed and wanted to change the style, but because so many players have been getting injured and players having to play out of position, Eric Ten Hag might have not been implement a certain style. That's what I'm hoping. I'm just hoping that all these injuries have just like decimated the plans what Eric Ten Hag had. And I just hope that when Ineos and Sir Jim Ratcliffe come in, that's the case and that they understand that and that it's not the players what have down tools. Yeah. That's what I hope.
And that there is actually a plan there for when the players do return from injuries, etc. Yeah. And there can be some more recruitment, players in, players out, that they're both on the same page as well going forward.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for.
And it can work, and more importantly.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. But if that's not there and Eric Ten Hag is just winging it and Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos find out, right, that is just winging it, then at the end of the day, you know, they will do what they have to do. But as far as I'm concerned, I think he's been dealt a bad hand and he just needs to stay in this year and then start next year with a clean slate.
Okay, I'm going to end it there. On the Go says, bang on there, Tony. Jam United said it was £2.10 to get on the Stretford end, and we could relate to the players, not these days.
I remember 1 and 6.
1 and 6, dear. Okay.
1 and 6.
If you remember any less, let us know in the chat. Cracker says, Tommy Doc's red and white army, laughing faces, big smiles. And I'd just like to end it there and thank everyone for joining us for today's video. Hopefully we got through everything we need to. You don't fancy Graham Potter, you think we need Harry Potter to give us...
No, I don't. I actually don't fancy a change of manager at all.
Good.
Because of the chaos what we're in anyway, right? It wouldn't make sense bringing in a manager into this chaos until everything behind the scenes has worked out and they've all been got rid of, and then there's a plan, there's a structure. Till every department has been sorted out, there is no point bringing in a new manager, whether I want one or not.
Okay, and on there, like I say, thanks for joining us. If you have enjoyed today's video, there's over 900 of you on, so please leave a like on the video if you've enjoyed it. And we're not going to be back on Friday. We will be back on Saturday morning to do a live show again. So if you are available, come and join us.
All about Liverpool.
All about Manchester United and Liverpool. So hopefully we can spread some positivity, and you can do in the chat, and we'll reel off some of your comments. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Enjoy your Friday, and we'll be back on Saturday, everyone.
It's Thursday.
No,
is it?
Oh, yeah, we'll be back on Saturday. Did I say back on Friday?
We're back on Saturday.
Yeah.
It's Thursday today.
Yeah.
It's Christmas parties for a lot of people out there tomorrow.
Yeah. That's our Christmas party.
We're going to Liverpool.
On Sunday.
We're going to Liverpool for our Christmas party.
Yes. Take care.